I'm here to cheer you up. It's always my job, right? You know, Vice Chancellor have to cheer everybody. They're always miserable academics. What can Britain make? I want to tell you about what Britain is making and can make. And actually, you're going to get some great discussions about other areas that Britain is making in terms of Brompton, also Tech City. What you see here is a very beautiful picture. It's a picture of a Rolls-Royce set of fan blades. And it's beautiful for lots of reasons. First of all, if you're a geometer, you see the beauty of the symmetry of it. But it's also something that is creating wealth, value, and particularly jobs in South Yorkshire, which is actually one of our big deals. Now, why can't we make more of these, and why do we make it all across other areas of sectors? Why aren't we dominating? Because certainly, if you look at that engine, look at its blades, look where it flies, look at the information technologies in it, look at the systems in it, it's fabulous, and it's all British. And the reason we can't do it in general, and don't worry, I'm not going to make be bad things, I'm going to tell you where we can break through, but part of the reason we can't do it in general is we have a very big, as you know, productivity gap in British manufacturing, and it comes actually from a very big R&D gap. It's built up from about 1980 for all sorts of reasons, breakup of different things, but we have a very small amount of R&D put in compared to actually some of the areas you'll hear about actually in bicycles, actually in Tech City. And it means, if you look at the UK, that in fact, no pointer, you look at, say, this UK R&D, research and development gap, it means we're not making enough things, we're not bringing enough things through to market. And actually, part of the thing is psychological, because I want to show you some things where we have bridged that gap, where we are able to move forward and we are able to do things. And it's happened in a place that you may not know about. If you're as old as me, you'll remember 1984, and you'll remember Arthur Scargill, and you remember the miners' strike. And you'll remember on the left-hand side here, the Orgreave coking plant and the great charge of British police against them. And that may be your image you have of industrial Britain and South Yorkshire. On the right, you have what it looks like now. It is the most advanced nuclear manufacturing capability in the world. It's been built by a combination of University of Sheffield money, Innovate UK money, RDF money as it was, and that then is the most advanced manufacturing capability in the world. And you say, okay, so you're actually saying that we've put in R&D in crucial areas in the United Kingdom. There's been investment by government. Why aren't we then building aspects of it? Why aren't we building the full aspects of nuclear power plants and all aspects of other manufacturing in the UK? And the reason for it is, in the case of aerospace, we have built a complete ecosystem between small companies in South Yorkshire, local authorities, regional development agencies, supply chain. We have a whole ecosystem in South Yorkshire that can take an object, piece of material, and then it goes into one of the 40,000 components in a Rolls-Royce engine that will fly. University of Sheffield was Supplier of the Year to Boeing Aerospace in 2011 because of the facilities we have there. So if we can do it for aerospace, why can't we do it for other things? Why do we have a difficulty? And the reason is we do not have the equivalent of Rolls-Royce or Boeing interacting with us in areas of high-speed trains, nuclear power plants, and other aspects of it. We do in automotive. Jaguar Land Rover is a similar story in terms of the investment between Warwick University, capability, and out. And just to ram home that we have the sort of facilities that are needed, I want you to see it. This is the first fully reconfigurable manufacturing capability. It has all of the elements you'd want in terms of modern manufacturing. It's about 50 million, it's nearly up. It is fully reconfigurable, fully robotically controlled. It has the most advanced capability in terms of GPS positioning of objects within it. It will track all of the things that go through it in the way of how we manufacture objects. We've got those things. So what's missing? You say you've got the factories. Well, some people will say, we're just out of the nuclear game. You know, we had with Calder Hall, Queen opened it a while ago, we lost it. Let me tell you, we have not lost our capability as a nuclear nation. We've not lost our capability in terms of a high-speed train nation. We've not lost our capability in many areas. What we don't have, we do not have the large vertically integrated structures such as GE, Siemens, or Hitachi that enable us to take the supply chain we've got into products. But we can do it, and we will. At the same time, this is Prince Andrew operating, we said if that's going to be there, we need the skilled people. We have a 250 apprentice train going through every year now in terms of high-value manufacturing. Associated well, we train them with the aspects of IT, robotics, the whole thing. And we can build high-speed trains, and we can build nuclear reactors, modular nuclear reactors. What's missing? We need the same thing that happened with the Olympics and the Olympic Development Authority. If you decide that you want at a certain time to build a capability, whether it's high-speed rail network, new nuclear power stations, aspects of infrastructure, you have to build it where there are goals, timed things, and specific things you're going to procure in that way. So what we're going to do and get together will be tomorrow at our AMRC, getting together with Jim, who you saw in the last session, John Arnott, Bob Kerslake, and we're going to be putting together the ecosystems corresponding to the areas we can't yet do. We've got aerospace, we're going to do it for high-speed trains and for nuclear. And so what I want to tell you is, don't think that we've lost that underlying ideas, skills base in the United Kingdom. If you look in Tech City, again, we have the whole range of possible skills. We're talking about the capability. We have the ability. We need some of the ecosystems to be rebuilt. It is, in fact, an unanticipated and unfortunate consequence of parts of privatization. It was very good to make efficient parts of capitalism work in that way, but we lost a lot of the ecosystem that was the connections between supply chain, manufacturers, and out in the way. But we can rebuild it in a capitalist way, give it national purpose, and get it out in that way. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. That gets us started. We'll possibly, hopefully, have time for a few questions from our panel. But let me just turn to our other panellists. Will, if I come to you first. Fascinating vision of things that we could make in the UK. You're already making things, and they're very different to the things that Keith was talking about there. So why does it make sense for you to be making bicycles in London?
Well, I sort of like what Keith's saying, but it's sort of big, massive industry, and there is a role for that. But the world that I live in is small little people making stuff. And we are making a bike a rather wet 45 minutes from here. And we're selling it all over the world. I'm still soaking, actually, my legs are a bit wet. But the funny thing is, in the UK, there is these amazing, we're thinkers, we've got cool stuff going on. We've got Central St Martin's, we've got interesting stuff going on in Sheffield. We're a hodgepodge of people coming from all over the world. We're good thinkers. Manufacturing for a generation has been written off as a sort of boiler suit, monkey wrench, blokey thing, when in fact it's artistic, it's entrepreneurial, you can make money, and it isn't the UK. I mean, there's a whole world of people who want to buy stuff, interesting stuff, quality stuff. And actually, for the last 20 years, most of the stuff that people have bought is crap. You buy it and you have it for 18 months and then it breaks, or you buy it and then you never bloody use it and you wonder why you bought it. You think how many things you have that really add value? Not many. And it's as relevant in the UK as it is in South Korea. So there's this really interesting opportunity. And our little business has grown because we're in the UK, because we've been to Triumph and learned what they've done. We've been to Stannah stairlifts. We've been and learned from universities. We've got these interesting areas of expertise. And we've got Raspberry Pis on our line. We've got online configurators to be able to design and make your own bike.
That's not something you eat. Tell us again.
No, Raspberry Pi is a little computer. But, I mean, there's clever stuff going on. And what we need to do in my book is get the thousands of businesses that are sort of pootling along, selling to probably no more than 20 miles from where they are, and get them shipping their stuff out.
So, Gerard, we can make engines, we can make high-speed trains in the future, we can do all kinds of things with nuclear power, we can make bicycles as well. So it seems that we can make a whole range of things. So could I ask you, in the politest sense, why are you here, Gerard? Because we're talking about making stuff, and do we have to redefine what we mean by making stuff?
Well, of course, when you make something, you need to not only think about the product, but also the process in which the product is made, how it's distributed, how it gets to customers, how customers perceive your product. And what I see every day in my privileged role in Tech City is companies that are technology companies that are enabling companies like Brompton to think about how to make the process even more efficient, more effective. So I'm sort of coming onto this point about Internet of Things, which is sort of connected objects. So the internet has allowed us to be very much, communicate as a peer-to-peer or people-to-people communication. We're literally on the brink of a new revolution where you have connected objects, object-to-object connectivity. So, in what this enables companies to do, whether they're manufacturers of bikes or nuclear reactors, if you offer a competitive edge to a company, whether they're based in the UK or whether they're based in the States, if we have the skill set, then we'll see more investment that will create more jobs and even more economic activity. And that's the point. When I look at the UK today, not only in Tech City, we have the respective skills that are needed to be at the forefront of Internet of Things. So when you look at Internet of Things, not only do you need to be good at making sensors that collect the data, but the value that comes from Internet of Things is the collation of that data and the action that you take based on that data. So for example, in the future, maybe it is happening now, I'm not sure of your processing plant, but knowing how your processes can be more efficient through the collection of that data enables you to give a competitive edge. So I look at machine learning, artificial intelligence, software design, user experience. So when I look at those different capabilities, they're all over the UK. I'll give you some examples. When you look at Tech City, software development. When you look at Cambridge, it's hardware and network connectivity. When I look at Bristol, it's robotics. When I look at Sheffield, there's a lot of data science capabilities. When I look at Edinburgh, there's a lot of cybersecurity capability, as well as in Belfast. So when I talk to companies like GE, they get extremely excited about the fact that we have capabilities in different ways right across the country. And obviously Tech City being at the hub and the gateway to that capability around the country.
Let's see if we have any questions in the room. I don't know if anyone has a burning desire to ask anything around what we make, how we make it, the types of product that Britain should make, can make. We've had a bit of a conversation about that, or about how we export it. And if nobody else wants to put them, I'm going to put them, because I have lots of questions. Any hands up, or shall we carry on here? Here we have one.
Somebody who's old enough to remember, perhaps it would be helpful for everybody to know, what is it that's different that you're doing that Alec Izigonis didn't do with little wheeled cycles about 45, 50 years ago?
Alex Moulton, do you mean?
Yes, Moulton, in Bradford-on-Avon.
Yeah. So I think the difference is that we're communicating with our customer. I mean, the product is different. It's a different product. It's more useful. Alex's machine, it's a bit complicated to fold down, was a delightful engineering masterpiece. The product itself is different, but our timing is in some ways fortunate, but the world used to be populated by big business, had lots of money, and told you if they spouted enough crap on the big billboards, you'd all believe them, that we need to put the powder on our face, pay 60 quid for a pot, and realise that we're still looking pretty minging, having paid for it all. And the world has woken up to the fact that actually the lady who used to put it on and just whinge to a neighbour has now written a blog and said this is just rubbish, and it doesn't matter how many millions they spend on the billboards, the stuff's rubbish.
So products can be found out.
Yes, and fortunately for us, we make a product that works. And so what we have done, and what has allowed us to grow, is we've leveraged that voice globally. A customer can actually watch their bike being built in the factory. So they could be in Japan and they will watch their bike being built in our factory live. We're not there yet, but it's about integrity and honesty in the product. And I think more and more the customer is bored with the bullshit. They want to know the truth about their product and have a sense of integrity about where it's come from and how it's created.
And I was just about to say that that technology, the Raspberry Pi, was invented here, 40 miles away from here. And it's a mini computer that costs £25 and enables you as a company to have a competitive edge over your competitor in how you communicate with customers. When I look at Rolls-Royce, just to use another analogy, Rolls-Royce in the years to come will become a data company.
Sure.
Because not only will they give an engine to a company, but they will also give them the ability for that company to look at the efficiency of that engine and what needs to be done to that engine to make it even more efficient. So, and there's that awareness. And if we didn't, we as a country have that capability to make sure that Rolls-Royce does become a data company as well as a manufacturer of stuff.
So Keith, if we're talking about factories of the future, why do we think that in Britain we have any better chance of creating these factories of the future than other parts of the world that have been?
We already have the factories of the future. What we haven't built yet is the ecosystem around it. If you look at what we have, say, nuclear manufacturing, there has been an astonishing amount of investment by UK government, us, and European money into facilities that are the best. We have the Department of Energy labs. when the Chinese nuclear company come, they want to use part of our facilities. What we haven't done is rebuilt the capability naturally of the supply chains going through them. We're going to be in a situation at the moment where UK supply chains will build into something like a Chinese reactor, or not like a French one, but a Chinese one. We think we can build it so we build the whole damn thing, or a very large part of the IP is here. And can I follow on?
Yes.
I really agree with the idea of data. So, for example, one of the things that we're planning to build at the moment associated with the factory is actually a hospital based on the same principles. Because we've had actually, our head of our manufacturing actually went through an operation actually and looked at the processes within the local hospital and said, I can redesign on the basis of our reconfigurable factory aspects of reconfigurable hospitals. We're actually there tuned to the particular needs of it. And what you need there, you need everyone online, everyone with their smartphone telling what people are, predictions being made that by data science is what you're going to need in terms of hospitalization, visualization, and link it in that way. I think you'll have in the future data, personal information coming from you, and actually reconfiguring the services that are needed. That's going to be the big thing. You can't just build all services needed and have them all online all the time. You'll have reconfigurable social services and reconfigurable hospitals. And then we've done in terms of online information.
I couldn't agree more that you do need you need ecosystems of different types. And I think, you know, when we did our Technation report, we came out in February, and it was the most comprehensive analysis of tech clusters around the UK. We found that there are 1.46 million people working in tech right across the country, which is roughly about 7.5% of the UK workforce. And the digital economy being 10% of GDP today, but is set to grow the fastest in the G7 over the next 5 years.
Okay. I hate to say it,
Oh.
but we're shockingly out of time. And we're going to stand in the way of people's lunch, and that will make us very unpopular.
I've got to add one more.
You're going to have to take on Michael. He's creeping onto
he's fine.
set.
He's always
Go,
looking
well,
up
while I'm just getting it to the
Going too fast.
The other exciting thing is manufacturing used to be, for big companies, it used to be very entrepreneurial, and you couldn't afford to get in unless you were a Ford or an enormous company. The cool thing is, it's affordable for entrepreneurs. You can print stuff. You can raise 50 grand on crowdsourcing. If you come up with an idea, you can take it from nothing to something. We've grown our business from small. We're still small, 30 million. We haven't gone to VC. We haven't gone to nasty, shitty banks. We still have a laugh, and we've got cash in the bank. And so there's real opportunity for these little businesses to flourish and grow.
I don't think they're here, that bank you mentioned.
Ladies and gentlemen, Anna Edwards and your superb panel. Thank you very much.